Welcome to Structure Matters, headings, fonts, and styles faculty often miss. My name is Valdis Bean, and I'll be taking you through this training today. To give you an idea of what we'll be talking about in this training, first we'll start with heading structure. Then we'll talk about setting headings in Canvas, Word using styles, and PowerPoint. Then we'll talk about fonts, as well as selecting fonts in Canvas, Word, and PowerPoint. First, let's talk about heading structure. You can think of your heading structure like a list, where every time you would indent, you go up a heading number. For example, we have our heading 1, or the title of our document. You will only have one heading 1 in your document, like you would only have one title in a document. If we have a subsection of heading 1, that's our heading 2. Unlike heading 1, you can have as many heading 2s in a paper as you need. If we were writing a paper, this might be a section like our introduction, methods, and conclusions. Heading 3 is a subsection of heading 2. Going back to our paper example, a subsection of a conclusion may be something like future considerations. The best way to think about heading structure is that whenever you have a subsection of another section, you will go up a heading number. Sometimes it's helpful to write out your headings like a list so you can keep track of what heading number to use. Something to keep in mind with heading structure is that generally you can go up to heading 4 in most programs. For example, on Canvas pages, you can go up to a heading 4. On Microsoft Word documents, you can go up to a heading 9. PowerPoint utilizes headings and sections for structure. And PDFs, you can go up to a heading 6. Most of the time, though, you won't use higher than a heading level 4, and in general, most documents only need up to a heading level 3. Let's take a look at our example Canvas page. Here you can see that our page title is actually our heading 1, so nothing will show up in our rich content editor as a heading 1. When it comes to assigning headings in your Canvas page, you can highlight the content that you want to make a heading, then assign it at whichever heading level you want. In this case, we'll make this a heading 2. If you don't like the font size or the font for a heading, you can change that without changing the heading from a heading. So as you can see, we've changed the font size for this, but it is still coded correctly. Microsoft Word also makes it easy to set your heading structure. For here, we could just highlight what we want to make a heading, go to Styles, and then hit Heading 1. But say we don't like how Heading 1 is formatted. Say this is how we want it formatted. We can highlight this, go to Styles, then right-click Heading 1, and then select Update Heading 1 to match selection. Now our new heading 1 is formatted how we want it to be while also being coded properly. Your heading structure in PowerPoint is a little bit different than how it works on Canvas or in Microsoft Word. Your headings in PowerPoint are your slide titles, and subheadings can be formed using sections. Let me show you. On most PowerPoint slides, there's going to be a title of that slide. We want to make sure that it's coded properly, or else there won't be any structure for that slide. Here I'm using the accessibility checker built into PowerPoint, just to make sure that our slides have titles. We can see here under document structure that we're missing a slide title. If I click it, it will show me the slide that's missing the title. We're already on that slide, so it hasn't changed. It'll identify what it thinks might be the title of that slide and prompt you to either set it as slide title, add a slide title, or if you don't want to add any additional text on your slide, you can hit Add Hidden Slide Title. This will create the structure for the slide without actually changing anything on the PowerPoint. When I spoke about sections earlier for PowerPoint structure, this is what I was talking about. You can actually right-click and rename sections, add sections, or remove sections. This can create sections that work similarly to headings would in a regular document and provides organization and structure overall to your PowerPoint. Let's now talk about fonts. In Canvas, the default settings in the Rich Content Editor are already considered accessible. It's recommended to stay away from funky fonts in Word and PowerPoint because these can be difficult to read. Generally, sans serif fonts are considered the most accessible, like Calibri and Arial. You should also consider font size, because too small of a font would be considered inaccessible. In Word documents, the minimum point for font is 12 point, but generally 14 point is more recommended. For PowerPoints, the minimum is 24 point. On this slide, I've used 24 point font to show you what that would look like. Any smaller, and the text might be too small to read. Larger is considered better. Thinking of using text colors? Check out our Designing with Everyone in Mind, Color Contrast, Color Reliance, and Accessibility training for more information on how you can use text color in your documents. Here we have an example Canvas page. If we want to check what size font we're using, we can click on the text, and this box will show us what size font it is. If we want to change what font we're using, we can go to Format and then Fonts. Canvas's default font is this Lato Extended, but they have several options to choose from. Microsoft Word makes it easy to see what font you're using and what size it is. For example, we have this example text. Up here, under the Home tab, you can see the font as well as the font size. If we want to change it, we can highlight the text, and then this pop-up will show. You can change the font and the font size from this pop-up without having to navigate back to the Home tab. Since PowerPoint is also a Microsoft Office product, it's very easy to see how to check fonts and font size. You can see under the Home tab the font we've used and the font size. And if we want to change it, we can highlight our text and use the pop-up or the Home tab to change the font or font size. This has been Structure Matters, Headings, Fonts, and Styles Faculty Often Miss. My name is Valdis Bean, and thank you for joining me today.